Chapter 30. I'm Miss K.
And I'm Queen T.
This is a place for those women
and men
who feel that they have no one to talk to.
We're here. Thank you for listening, and we hope you enjoy the show. Hey guys, welcome back.
Hey guys, welcome back. It's Miss K.
And Queen T, back with another one.
Yes.
All right, guys. Today we are talking about the 5 love languages.
Yes, and this is an interesting topic, and we look forward to sharing our love language and also hearing back from you and you guys letting us know about yours.
Yes, and I just recently learned, I've heard about the 5 love languages, but I never knew that it was like a book. Did you read the book?
No, I haven't read the book, which my friend told me to read last year, and I still haven't read it. But there is a book, The 5 Love Languages, and it's by Gary Chapman. But I haven't read it, but I did read on it. I did take the test, and I think it's really interesting, but I really need to read it.
Same here. I'm going to put that on my to-do list.
I know. I feel like I have a long list of books that I need to read.
Same here. Speaking of books, actually, I'm going to get back on topic, but my boss actually the other day told me about this book called Girls Stop Apologizing. Have you heard of it?
I've heard of it. It's on my list as well.
She just really ranted and raved about it so much. So I'm putting those 2 books on my to-do list.
Mm-hmm.
Streets, go ahead and put those 2 on, and we'll talk about it in another episode.
Yes, and if any of you have read either one of those books, let us know what you think about it. Don't spoil it, but let us know if you like it or not.
Yes, WYT. All right, let's get into these languages. What are the 5 love languages?
Okay, so the 5 love languages are quality time, physical touch, words of affirmation, receiving gifts, and acts of service. What's your love language?
My love language, actually, I just found this out the other day. My love language is quality time. And it said, when I took the test, it says, you value quality time alone with your loved ones to bond. You feel loved when someone spends time with you. Likewise, you express love by giving the other person your undivided attention. If this is your primary love language, you should ask people to spend time with you in order to build closer connections and feel appreciated. Which I found was pretty interesting. What is your love language?
So when I took the test, I actually had 2, and I wasn't surprised by them because I feel like they are fitting of my personality. Were you surprised with yours, or was it okay, it's definitely me?
I'm always all over the fence about everything.
Mm-hmm.
I was surprised that it wasn't physical touch. But I feel like, it does say your primary love language. Right. So I guess, both of those could kind of be hand in hand with me. But I feel like when it comes to relationships in general, whether it's platonic or romantic or whatever, I feel like it would be quality time. But if it's just if I'm just talking about a boyfriend or whatever, I think it will definitely be physical touch more so than the others.
That's interesting. And there are other tests online too for the love languages. So it will be interesting if we both took different love language tests and kind of compare the results just to see what they came up with. And if they were
That's a good idea, because I was actually thinking about getting a second opinion.
Right.
And being I wonder if it's going to be that way, if it's going to be unanimous, throughout the other tests or so that's interesting. We should kind of do that soon.
Right.
What was yours?
I was about to say, let me get back to your question.
I'm interested.
But my love languages are acts of service and words of affirmation. And I wasn't surprised because they're pretty much me. But just to read the description, acts of services is, can helping with homework really be an expression of love? Absolutely. Anything you do to ease the burden of responsibilities weighing in on an acts of service person will speak volumes. The words he or she most wants to hear is, let me do that for you. Laziness, broken commitments, and making more work for them. tell speakers of this love language their feelings don't matter. When others serve you out of love and not obligation, you feel truly valued and loved. And the words of affirmation description says, actions don't always speak louder than words. If this is your love language, unsolicited compliments mean the world to you. Hearing the words I love you are important. Hearing the reasons behind that love sends your spirit skyward. Insults can leave you shattered. You thrive on hearing kind and encouraging words that build you up.
Okay, so now that you did the test and you found out your love languages, do you feel that it's true to who you are as a person? Do you agree with it?
Definitely agree that these are my love languages, but the descriptions I'm not too sold on. I did bump into a few online that I did like more. I did not screenshot those, but these descriptions are like, they're like, they're not too sold on them. How about you? The description for yours, did you feel like it was like you?
Yeah, yes and no, because for me, I don't know, like I was raised as an only child, so I'm used to being by myself, you know what I mean? Quality time is important for me, but I can, like, I have, okay, friendships, for example, like you and I, we can not see each other for years, but we could still have like a really strong bond, you know what I mean? Like, um, and I guess quality time doesn't necessarily mean um in person. You know what I mean? Like I feel like right now it's
That's
quality
true.
time. Like we are spending time together just talking. Um so yeah, I think it is pretty much true. Like cuz if I have people in my life that I feel like are close to me and they don't say, "Hey, let's go out for lunch or whatever or let's go to a movie or something." I feel kind of like, "Dang, what's up?" Like, they don't care about me.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas they might be thinking something else. Like, I don't know, they living in their own world and they think because they send a hey text message that, that's love. You
They have
just never know.
language.
Um, so yeah, I agree with mine. I really think that quality time, whether it's in person or just taking the time out to send a voice message, is important to me.
That's true. That's true.
Why do you think it's so important for us to be aware of these love languages?
I think it's important for us to be aware of our love language because it, even if you're single, it gives you an idea of what's a priority to you, and it just kind of will give you an idea of what you want in other relationships, like you said, whether it's platonic or romantic. And if you are in a romantic relationship, I really think it's important to take the test with your partner and kind of just see like, okay, you need to be loved this way. Okay, you need to be loved that way. A lot of the time we like just learn that, like, okay, he likes compliments, or okay, he likes, when I make his lunch, or she likes this, she likes that. A lot of the times we learn it naturally, but I feel like it wouldn't hurt to take the test and kind of see like, oh, okay.
I agree. And I also think that even if we do learn things about other people as far as this is what they like, sometimes we may not connect that to that. This is how they see it as love.
Exactly.
Like for example, I think it's also good it's kind of like a conflict resolution.
Mm-hmm.
It can kind of avoid some conflict if you know beforehand this is how this person sees love or this is how this person doesn't see love. For
Mm-hmm.
example, I was having this conversation with somebody that I work with. We were talking about the love languages, and she was saying how, her husband cleaned the whole house, and he's like, I clean the whole house, and she's like, okay, you clean the house. So to him, his love language is acts of service.
Mm-hmm.
And to her, you're just doing chores, that's something that you're supposed to be doing. Um, so I'm guessing, maybe if she mowed the lawn for him or something, he would be like, oh my gosh, she loves me so much
Exactly.
because that's his love language.
Mm-hmm.
And to her, it can be, all he has to do is say, I love you. He doesn't have to clean the house because maybe her love language is words of affirmation. So I'm not saying they got into an argument over it or whatever, but that can lead to something where if somebody's feeling like they're just like laying a life on the line for you, and you're just like, okay, that doesn't mean anything to me. So if you know beforehand that you cleaning the house is not something that feels like love to the other person, then you won't feel so shattered afterwards when they don't hashtag expectations, when they don't respond the way that you would want them to, or the way that you would if it was done for you.
Exactly, that part.
Mm-hmm.
That's so true. Like,
Yeah.
I think that's so true. I think we get so caught up in our own love language that we think that's the only way you can love.
Yes.
For example, when you mentioned the friend texting you, hey, so their their love language may be, let's say words of affirmation, since since it's just a text,
Mm-hmm.
that, hey T, just thinking about you, hope all is well, love you. And then let's say you guys, live near one another and they're just living their life, you're living yours. If that's not your love language and yours is quality time, then you're more like, okay, like, I appreciate the text, but can we hang out? Like, I
Right.
to be
Right.
around you and I need to spend like quality time with you. So,
Right.
and like, meanwhile, you both are expressing love, you both are wanting love, you both are, trying to give and receive it, but just in your own language. So I think it's important, even in friendships, to know, oh, you know what, T's love language is quality time, let me, XYZ. Okay, you know what, Gabrielle's love language is receiving gifts, let me send her a little gift card, a little $5,
Mm-hmm.
like, just to show her I love her. And it doesn't mean that you have to unnaturally do these things, but I think if we're mindful of them, it can definitely make for a more quality experience in a relationship.
I agree. And just through like researching this a little bit more, it kind of put things in perspective for me just in my own life.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's somebody in my life who we just always bump heads.
Mm.
And I think it's because of this.
Mm.
We see love in two totally different ways. We express love in two totally different ways.
Wow.
And this person's love language is, after I've read all of them, this person's love language is acts of service. Like,
Wow.
for sure. Number one, it has to be. And this person to me, is just, they speak a lot about what other people do for them, you know? And that used to just really like just drive me crazy because I'm like, okay, like like everything is not about what somebody could do for you, you know, but that's how they see love. Love is, you know, okay, you came over, you, I don't know, you washed my dishes, like you love me. And so we just really, really bumped heads because that's not my love language, you know. But now I see maybe I can be more um accepting of it and be more like, okay, this is how they see love. So that's why they just keep ranting and raving about what
I,
people do for them, because it makes them feel loved. Like, I get it.
she's not talking about me, guys, by the way.
No, 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 I'm not. I'm absolutely not.
I'm just listening like, wow, because you just said like, wow, that makes me want to go back and look at certain relationships and think like, okay, what's their love language? Okay, what's mine? And kind of see if some of the conflict came from that, because I really feel like 75% of, um, some of the conflict I've had with people, I feel like it can stem from that. That's crazy.
Yeah, exactly. And everybody was like, everybody grew up differently, everybody
Mm-hmm.
experienced life differently.
Right.
And, you know, maybe that's how she grew up. That's how she was taught that, you know, if somebody comes by and does something for you, that's love. And, you know, I was not raised that way, or I didn't take that on. So it's like it's a whole different language. It's like, you know, trying to communicate with somebody, you speak English and they speak Chinese. It's just,
Right.
it's very difficult.
And I have to kind of clarify, like, with my love language. Um, let me see. Okay, so I'll start with the words of affirmation. There was a part in the description where it said like insults can leave you shattered and just all that. So I do want to just kind of backtrack to kind of go about why I didn't really agree with that description so much, because you can ask T. There's one thing I've always said, like, don't live off compliments, and just don't live off compliments. That's just something I really strongly believe in. Like, you can't really like base your existence on what other people think about you. A Pisces, I am sensitive, so there is that. But one thing, like, I'm not gonna, oh my gosh, an insult shattered my life. Oh my god, a compliment, revived my life. Like, I can't live like that. That's too much. So for me, with words of affirmation, it's if I'm in a loving relationship, platonic or romantic, and my partner is just like, I wake up to a beautiful text, or you're having a day at work and you look down and there's a few paragraph text or even one paragraph text just like expressing their love. I'm a writer and I love to read, so I love words.
Yeah.
And then even in our relationship, as friends, like when we do it to each other, like we just have we just gotta gas each other up, like, girl, and we just that gives me, I was about to say life, but then I'll be contradicting myself. A lot of love. Like, that's my love language. So I'm like, yes. Like, how did she know I needed that? Like, were you just loving to each other? And I do that with all my friends and my family, where I'm just like, like, if I'm really close to you, like, I'll have that time where I just gotta, like, love on you real quick,
Yeah.
That's important to me. But again, there's a difference between like you're living and needing these things to survive. Like, you got to know yourself and love yourself first, and everything else is the icing on the cake. So for me, like, that kind of stuff is special. Like, I don't need like, I like gifts and stuff like that, but
Right.
but I don't know. It's just something special to me about someone just loving on me like that. And the other one, the acts of service, like, I do want to say, like, I'm very self-sufficient, I'm very independent, and I just do everything for myself. So when someone does something for me, it's like, oh my gosh, like, you gave me a piece of paper, oh, you wiped down my kitchen table, like, I don't know, like, whatever small thing. It doesn't have to be this huge act of service, but I just feel like when you're independent, when you do it all on your own, when somebody does something for you, like, it just, I don't know, it blows your mind in a really special way. So it doesn't have to be anything huge or major for me, but it just shows you care. Like, it just shows that you're trying to make my life a little bit easier, and I really appreciate that for friends and guys that I'm in a relationship with. So I just wanted to clarify that a little bit. And
I was going to say also that it probably takes a little bit off of your plate too. Like, being that you're so self-sufficient.
right.
And, so when somebody comes along and is like, oh, let me carry that bag.
Yes.
It's like, oof,
Yeah,
thank
it's
you.
like, thank you. And T, you know me, it takes a while for me to even want somebody to do anything for me. So when we get to that point where I'm comfortable with letting somebody help me, it's like, okay. And you want to help me some way? Because, like, I just want to, I'm the kind of person, like, I rather help. I rather give. I rather, but you got to get poured into. Like we always talk about, you can't keep pouring. You got to get poured into as well, or you're going to just be empty. So, yeah.
Okay, so out of these 5 love languages, are there any that would be a deal breaker if your significant other expressed love that way?
I guess, like, to the extreme, I would have to pick receiving gifts. Like, there's some men that think that's the only way to show they love you, and like they just, maybe they want to just keep buying you stuff. But if they're neglecting every other love language, and they just think that's the answer to everything, then I think that would be a deal breaker, because that means nothing. Like, whatever you get me, I can get me. So, if it's just, okay, here's this, here's that, here's this, here's that, but you're literally neglecting every other love language, that's a turnoff. What about you?
I agree. I think that, and I'm looking at all of them, and I'm thinking if it was like solely just this one love language, I think Mhm. I'm thinking words of affirmation.
Right, because you're all talk and no action. Like, okay. Is that where you were going with that or somewhere else?
No, I'm going if I have to keep pouring into you.
Oh, if they're
If
oh,
their love language was words of affirmation.
oh, okay. Okay. See, I was
And that was it. And it was just like solely that. And that was like all they needed.
saying,
You know what I mean?
okay, okay. That's true. Okay, so how I answered my question was more so if they loved with that love language, which didn't really answer your question.
Oh, okay,
It said
okay.
like if they thought like my love language was gifts, because there are some people who just kind of love into one love language, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of just, but that's a good point about the words of affirmation. That's very true.
Yeah, I'm thinking that because if my friends, I'm totally different with my friends and with boyfriends. It's kind
Mhm.
of bad, but it's just honest.
Mhm.
Like my friends, I will pour into them all day long. Like if I feel that's what they need, then I'm shooting all types of words of affirmation, everything.
Right.
But if there's a man in my life, um, this is gonna sound bad, but it's true. Like I don't mind, giving him affirmation or positivity and speaking life into him or whatever. But if I feel like he needs that, like if I feel like he has to hear every single day just how amazing he is,
Right.
and I have to, and it's more so me. It's just more so that I'm just not a very good talker. I'm not a very, I'm more of actions. I'm more,
Mhm.
let me show you what I can do, or let me show you how I love you. So, um, I just feel like it wouldn't be at a certain point. It would be forced,
Mm.
you know. So the words that I say, they have to come with feeling behind it. They have to come with meaning behind it, and I have to really mean it. So if there's somebody in my life that needs to hear every single day, every single minute, words of affirmation, it's just not going to work because when I say something, I mean it, and it just has to come naturally and organically.
That's a great point, and I think it kind of goes back to what I was saying. Like, there's a difference between enjoying words of affirmation and then you just solely like your life depends on that. Like, you need to be gassed up every day in order to go. Like, that's too much, and that's a personal problem. So
Right, right.
I think any of these love languages, like they can all go to an extreme, but that's unhealthy. But these love languages in like a healthy like dose, in a healthy amount, like that's kind of what we're talking about because you can definitely go left with a lot of with all of these.
I was gonna say like a lot of these can definitely. Okay, so let's say for example, let's break them all down and see how far left they can go. I think words of affirmation we already said, like if somebody is kind of like just need to survive off of hearing good things about themselves. That's totally toxic and unhealthy. Gifts, I mean, that just sounds like somebody who's like super materialistic. If it's taken all the way left, I mean,
Yeah, we're
you know what
talking.
I mean? Like, yeah, like if somebody's just like none of these other love languages means anything to them, and they just
Mm-hmm.
they just want gifts. It sounds like super superficial and just materialistic. Acts of service, I know, but
It can come off as lazy if that's all you need. Like,
oh yes, and lazy, dependent. Oh, next quality time. Oh, that can come off as clingy,
mm-hmm.
stifling. I guess that's it. Physical touch. That can come off as pervy, skeevy.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Very true. And I have a question for you.
Yeah.
If you could pick a love language for your partner, what would it be? Like, I mean, in a perfect world, like if God said, T, what love language do you want your partner to speak? Which one would work for you the best?
I'm assuming that we all kind of love the way that we want to be loved. So I'm guessing that because my love language is quality time, I'm assuming that I would want my partners to be the same. Um, because for me, time is something that you just can't get back.
Mm-hmm.
Time is the most valuable thing that we have. And um, I don't know, we all have so much going on in our lives. Like, I really don't do much, but I feel like I'm always busy. So if you could just like take the time out, um, and it doesn't even have to be much, like, going on a walk or something like that. And it's not being there, but also being present and
Mm.
um having your undivided attention, you listening to me, you hearing me, you understanding me. Those are things that really mean a lot to me. So I would want somebody to have the same love language. What about you?
Um, I actually agree with you on that. Like that's a great point. Like I kind of was trying to answer that question myself, and like before I asked you, before we started the show today, and I didn't really know, but like hearing you say that, like I definitely think that that's true. And as far as your love language, quality time, like the key word is quality. Like all those
Mm,
things are of quality. Like I think that term is thrown around so much. I want quality time, that we don't really um you know how we can say a word so much we're not really understanding or like focusing on the meaning. Like quality is a huge important factor. Like
yes.
like quality time, like not
Yeah,
necessarily quantity, but quality. Like when you have something of a certain quality, like that speaks volumes. So quality time is really important. I agree.
exactly. Because if we're just gonna sit there, you could sit there and watch TV with somebody
Hmm.
and you're spending time together, but if y'all just sitting there watching TV, then there's no quality about that. You know what I mean? There's
Hmm.
nothing you're really gaining from. Unless, let's say your love language is physical touch. So let's say you're sitting there watching TV, you're cuddled up and
Right.
you're hugged up or whatever, then that's quality as well. But let's say, after you watch the show, you go into it and you guys are speaking your opinions about it and what you thought about the show, whatever. Like, it just
Right.
has to be something else in there that made that time quality for the both of us.
Yes, girl, like that's so true. And I think a lot of people they don't realize it, but they rather have quantity time. They rather just have a lot of time with their partner, and it doesn't matter if it's not quality. Like he could be on his game, she could be on her phone, and that's satisfying to them. Like some people just want to be up under each other 24/7, and that's okay if that's their love language. But there is a difference between the two, quality and
I
quality.
agree. And I also think that knowing your own love language, we've kind of directed it onto others and, how we love other people and how we want other people to love us. But I also think it has a huge part in how we love ourselves.
Mm.
So you can kind of turn it into the mirror and, know how you want to love yourself. So if that's a problem area for you, and you are dealing with how to love yourself, find out your love language.
Mm.
And the same thing that works on how you love other people is going to work on yourself. So let's say, for example, your love language is words of affirmation. I feel like I keep using this one as an example, but it's a good one. Then you can write down what you like about yourself, repeat self love affirmations to yourself. And, that basically you're just loving yourself how you want others to love you or how you want to love others. And it works both ways?
That's really true. That's a great example. That's so true. You can definitely go down the whole list and kind of, I don't know about physical touch. Can you think of one for physical touch for self?
Yeah, I can.
Massage? Wait, no, because that's another. I don't know. Wait,
No, yeah, that's a good one. That's a really good one. You can go get a massage, you can
go
get a
get a
mani
massage.
pedi, get your nails done or whatever. Yeah.
Receiving gifts. I guess you can like buy yourself something when maybe you hit a certain goal or milestone, or just I don't know. You had a great week. Let's go treat myself to a shirt or a ring or I don't know whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. Okay. They all can.
Yeah.
Okay.
See, and for me, quality time is my love language. And like
Mm.
I said before, I'm very like, I love to spend time with myself. I love being
Mm-hmm.
by myself.
Mm-hmm.
So quality time for me is just, sometimes it's just meditating. Sometimes it's just putting my phone away, not looking at it for a few hours. Um, Reading a book, watching a movie by myself. Sometimes I'll go out and eat by myself. Like I just
Mm-hmm.
I sounded like, oh, I just love myself. But no, like just that time with myself is how I love myself, you
Girl,
know?
like, like yesterday, I took myself on a whole date. Like I date,
Yes.
like
Yes.
first time. I'm like, okay, it's time to take you out on a date. I mean,
Exactly. I be
it is
courting myself, honey.
for real. Let's do the whole list then. So, acts of service. What do you think about that one?
Oh, that's a good
Right?
one.
Acts of service. Doing
Hmm.
something for yourself that maybe you were putting off. I don't know, or something. I don't know. I mean, everything we do for ourselves is an act of service. If we, wash our clothes, or if we uh, wash our hair. I mean, with that, I
Hmm.
mean, I guess.
I guess, yeah, some people feel fulfillment out of that. Like, yes, I got my hair washed. Like,
Yeah.
or maybe, oh no, maybe it's having somebody else do it for you. Like, for example, instead of going to the laundromat,
Oh,
maybe doing like a laundry service
that's true.
every
That's
once in a
very
while.
true. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I think that would be a good one.
That's a way better example. That's true. And what's the last one? That's all of them.
Yeah, we did all of them.
Awesome. So I have another question for you.
Yay.
Back to dating. We're gonna get back to self, but just back to dating real quick.
Okay.
Have you ever dated someone and they didn't understand your love language?
Absolutely.
Ugh.
I feel like it comes out a lot, um, especially during arguments and, heated debates when every relationship is not like this, but I've had a relationship where it came out like, well, I did this for you and I did that for you. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, that doesn't mean anything to me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
first of all, who throws stuff in people's face that they did? That's a red flag right there, but that's on a red flag episode. Um, so, those things that, he brought up or whatever weren't what I perceive to be love. So I think it's definitely important to have that conversation fairly close to the beginning. So one person doesn't feel like, they're giving their all, um, and the other person is not being appreciative of that
Mm-hmm.
when the other person doesn't even perceive that to be love.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the conversation that needs to be had, because then here you are a year down the line and you feel like you didn't lay down your whole life and the other person is just, walking over it, but they don't know because they don't see that as love.
That's so true. T, how do you think a couple could navigate through their relationship speaking different love languages? Do you think it's possible?
I absolutely think it's possible, especially if it's a conversation that's had in the beginning and it's not either one's deal breakers.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think it could be a learning experience for both of them, um, because it kind of takes you outside of your comfort zone, and it can actually help to improve the relationship or make it kind of more of a solid foundation. Because if you're just like doing things within your comfort zone, there's no growth in that.
Mm.
So if somebody comes to you, like, we keep saying my love language is quality time. And I'm saying that I've had a bad experience with somebody whose love language is acts of service. Let's say I have somebody who comes in my life and I really love them and their love language is acts of service, then now that's kind of taking me out of my comfort zone and I have to learn how to love this person through acts of service. And eventually I'm gonna grow, you know what I mean? And maybe somebody else in my life that I kind of
Mm-hmm.
clashed with or bumped heads with, I'll be able to work on that relationship with them. You know what I mean? Like,
Exactly.
and it may not be that specific, but it's just all a part of learning and growing. Everybody can't just be around people that are exactly the same as them. We learn and grow from people that are different from us. And I think that's a good factor or a positive thing that can come out of um, being with somebody who expresses love differently than you. What do you think?
I agree, because I was just thinking that when you were saying that, I was just thinking about how, when we learn to love someone in a different love language, or someone who speaks a different love language, like it helps us just across the board with everyone, with our friends, with our coworkers, with our, different family members, with our future children. Like everyone is going to love how we love. And it's important to understand each love language, and also to know how to navigate through them, because you may not be an expert in that, but you could learn as a beginner. It's like learning how to speak, Chinese, Spanish. Um, just you may not be like, fluent in it, or, so confident in it, but at least you're open to it. And
Right.
like you said, it's just having more of a understanding that everyone is not just how you are, and it doesn't make them
Hmm.
a person, just they're different.
Yeah. It's just always, um, it's never a good thing when you're set in your ways and you're just closed minded or narrow minded. You know what I mean? Like there always has to be some type of something that wants to open you up or learn or grow in some type of way. So it just bothers me when people are just like, no, this is how I am and this is how I love, this is how I want to be loved, and that's it.
Right.
You know, there's more out there, and there's you never know. Like for example, people be taking this zodiac thing to the far left, like, oh, he's a Scorpio, like I'm not messing with no Scorpios. But everybody's not the same. Everybody's not the same exact Scorpio. There's, I'm not going to go too deep into it, but he could be a Scorpio sun sign with a Leo moon sign, and that could be your perfect match.
Right. Right.
um, but let's bring it back to love languages. So, just because I had somebody in my life that was their love language is acts of service, and we bumped heads, doesn't mean that they're the same exact person as another person who could come in my life and show me that acts of service can actually be an amazing love language, and open my eyes to me maybe wanting to be loved with acts of service. You never know.
Mm-hmm.
Things can change, and change is not always such a bad thing. Sometimes we think change is such a catastrophe, and it builds so much of a fear in our lives that we just are against it. But there's so many beautiful things that can come from it.
So true. We have to evolve. Like I could have a whole new love language, in a few years from now. Like we do change. Have you ever met somebody and they brought out a different love language in you that you didn't know was there, or like just certain traits of that love language, like just based on like who you two were together?
Yes. Um I've always been pretty self-sufficient,
Mm-hmm.
um and just independent. And although this relationship did not work, there was one thing that he did was he just like did a lot. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
he did a lot as far as like cooking for me, like meal prep. I would wake up in the morning, have breakfast ready, have my lunch ready, came home, dinner ready, pick me up from work, drop me off from work, stuff like that, where I've never had that before. And it's not like I'm just gonna turn into somebody who's super dependent and
Mm-hmm.
want somebody to, but it's nice to have somebody who can come in and kind of lessen the load a little bit.
Good.
And because I had never really experienced that too much, when I finally got that, I was like, oh, I might like this a little bit. So he kind of
Mm-hmm.
like, I kind of do see a different side to acts of service, and I guess a little bit of that is gifts. I don't know. Yeah. No, I'll just say acts of service. Where I can be like, okay, I see a different side to that. I can see how it kind of like lightens the load.
Mm-hmm.
How about you?
Yes, I have. Um, Kind of a similar situation where someone just introduced like a side or a love language to me that I necessarily didn't really love in, and I was just like, oh, okay. Like I think it was I think it was acts of service as well. And it was similar things like that, like just doing certain things for me that I was used to doing on my own. And
Hmm.
it was refreshing. And then like I'm also just thinking about times where in the same relationship where we would bump heads because I'm gonna admit I just wasn't open to realizing like how important their love language was. Like I wasn't putting their love language on the same like pedestal that I put mine on. Like, I kind of was narrow minded, just thinking that this is love. This is how I see it. But theirs is just as important. Like, and that's important to come into the relationship understanding that. So that was a place where we bumped heads because I'm gonna admit at that time I didn't really realize that we all see, receive, and give love differently. Like, period. We're not the same.
Right. Oh, that's major. That's a major realization.
Life changing. It's definitely gonna make it. It definitely makes it just even this podcast, it just makes it easier for me to understand other people. Like just having this conversation with you is just like helping me, like, when I go out into the world, like I just can have a better understanding of, okay, like that's how she loves, that's how he loves, like, and it can just help me understand them a bit more. I might not be fluent in it, but I can respect it, and I can try.
I feel like so many confrontations could have been avoided just through trying to understand somebody. Like not even confrontations, but maybe we would all just be able to get along better if we all took the time to try to understand
Right.
the other person or somebody. Like, it's just everybody is not everybody, but there's a lot of people who are set in their ways. There's a lot of people who don't want to know more than what they already know, and that's their life, that's their world, that's their bubble, and they want to stick to it. And a lot of stuff could be avoided if you just pop that bubble.
Exactly. Yes, because it's just so true. Like this expectations, like we just have to be mindful of the expectations that we have of each other. Like I take myself as a very understanding and open person, but like I have to admit sometimes I do have like just certain expectations of people that I just shouldn't have. So I just decided just to throw away those expectations and just to be more open to what that person is giving, saying, doing. But that's a whole nother episode. Expectations coming soon.
Yo, I was about to go in just now, but I was like, let me just wait. Let me wait.
Oh, another episode, but it's coming now.
It's coming. Anything else you want to add in for the people before we go?
No, this was a great conversation. I enjoyed it. It was awesome. And I look forward to hearing from the streets and seeing what they have to say about it. If you read the book, if you didn't, if you want to, what's your love language? What did you agree? What did you disagree? Like, I just want to hear all of it.
Yes, I want you guys to, we're going to put up a screenshot of this episode. I want you guys to share the screenshot, and I want you to put a hashtag and let us know what your love language is, and add us on whatever social media platform that you follow us on, whether it's Facebook at Queen TK, whether it's Instagram at the Chapter 30 Podcast, whether it's Snapchat and Twitter at Chapter 30 Pod, or whether you email us at the Chapter 30 Podcast at gmail.com.
Yes, for the plug. We around.
We are all the way around. Well, thank you so much for tuning in, streets. Stay tuned because we're gonna come back with a Let Us Put You On.
Mm-hmm.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey guys, we're back again.
Hey guys, we're back again, and it's that time again for Let Us Put You On.
Yes, we're gonna put you on with some fire today.
Mm-hmm.
You want me to start, or you want to start, Miss K?
You can start.
All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and go with this beautiful Black woman. Her name is India Ari. Yes, and this is actually from her newest album. The song is called "In Good Trouble." So it goes. It was a 1 in a million chance, the way that we met. Now I can't seem to get his smile out of my head. All that tall, dark, and handsome Africanness. This morning I caught myself wondering if he was too tall for my bed.
Mm.
Oh, now you got me talking on the phone. Oh, now you got me writing new songs. What the hell is going on? I'm doing way too much. That's how I know I'm in good trouble with you.
Mm.
I'm in good trouble with you. Just when the winter started getting cold, you came along and you warmed up my bones. I'm in good trouble with you. Now, I love me some India Ari because her voice is like butter. I love her voice. I love the raspiness. I love the runs. Um, and then also in this song, it's just so like it just sounds so happy and
Mhm.
free and light. It's just like that feeling that you get when you first fall, and you start acting a little bit different maybe, or
Mhm.
you start doing different things and you like, oh Lord, what I'm about to do. And it just has that just like almost teenage butterfly type of feeling song to it. So yeah, that's my Let Me Put You On.
Wow. I love her. I have to listen to that. So I'm definitely writing that down. You put me on. Um,
Yes.
she's dope. Like she's so like pro black in a
I
beautiful
forgot that part.
way.
Yes.
Like it's just so beautiful how she I just love it. How she loves on us and our skin.
Yes. I feel like in every single song there's something in there. It may be just one word,
Mm-hmm.
but there's always something in there that just reminds you I'm a black woman
Mm-hmm.
and I love my black people. Something in there.
In a beautiful way. It's not like overdoing it. Like
Exactly. It's very tasteful.
right, right. Right.
Yeah.
Such a man.
Put me on, Miss K. What you got going on over there?
I'm gonna dedicate this. Let us put you on
Ooh, a dedication.
to a beautiful, sultry, amazing woman who is like my childhood. Like she's just, I there's, I just can't. I could cry right now. Like
Oh my God.
I love her so much. Like my childhood is just like she's a huge figure in my childhood. Put it that way.
Okay.
She's just everything. Everybody calls her auntie, but no, she's really my auntie. Like she's amazing. Like I love this lady. I cannot gush about her enough. She's just one of a kind. There's no one like her. There's one person that comes close to her.
Before you say the name, can I guess after this whole
Yeah,
thing?
you can guess. There's one
Okay.
that comes close to her, and she's also my favorite singer. And actually, her career started because of this auntie I'm talking about. That's just how dope everything is in music, and just like in my favorites, like they're all connected. But that's a whole nother topic. She's powerful. She's just everything. She's real. Her music, like I want to get married just because I want to play her songs. Like,
Oh my God.
she's everything to me. I love her so much. And guess who she is?
I'm literally like at the edge of my bed right now because I'm so excited. Just the way that you explained
I
her.
love her.
Is it Anita Baker?
Yes, Anita
Yes.
Baker. Forgive me for all the stuttering and all that stuff, guys, but there's no words. Like, even for me to introduce her, there's no words. I love her so much.
Oh
Love her so much.
my.
I do.
Put me on. You know what? I'm
Mhm.
sorry. I'm gonna have to say this. You really are gonna have to put me on because, like, I know a few Anita Baker
Mhm.
songs, but she was never like that huge as far as like in my music influence.
Uh-huh.
So I can't wait to hear this because I'm gonna write it down.
Okay. If you ever want to check out her greatest hits album, that would be a great place to start.
Oh, I should do
If
that.
she's your cup of tea, go for it. She is an acquired taste. You know how like Jasmine Sullivan, India Irie, like there's some people they ain't for everybody. So
Hmm.
I think you would like her because you're into good music, period, and just certain tones and just different tones, especially with different women. But she's
Right.
definitely acquired taste. But I think you would like her. Check out her greatest hits. It's called The Best of Anita Baker. But it was so hard to pick two songs because we do two songs in this segment. It was very hard, but I picked, and my first song is Just Because. And oh, guys, this song is amazing. But here goes some of the lyrics. When I think about how much I'm loving you, no limitations, no set of regiment, set of rules. I'm amazed how much this love has touched my life. and the commitment that we share is a welcome sacrifice. This must be sweet fatal attraction, my lifelong date with destiny. Love this strong, it just brings out the passion I never knew was here in me. I love you just because, I love you just because, I love you just because I do. Emotions more than words can help me say I love you just because you're you.
Oh,
So and chorus, and that's my wedding song. And I love her just because. Okay,
oh,
Pete, put me on.
that's so sweet. Those lyrics sound so sweet. I'm gonna have to listen to that.
Yeah,
And you said
that,
it's called Just Because, right?
mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to
Yes, girl.
I'll do some Anita.
I'm gonna have to listen to that NDIRE. But put me on to that second song, girl.
All right, my second one is of course another guy, and something about his voice. Okay, this might be just a butter day because his voice is butter too, and his range is ridiculous for a guy. Um, his songs, the lyrics to his songs are just it hits you right in the middle of the chest. Just it's Sam Smith. I love him so
Mm.
much. And the name of the song is called Pray. And he says, I'm young and I'm foolish. I've made bad decisions. I block out the news, turn my back on religion. Don't have no degree. I'm somewhat naive. I've made it this far on my own. But lately, that shit ain't been getting me higher.
Mm.
I lift up my head and the world is on fire.
Mm.
There's dread in my heart and fear in my bones, and I just don't know what to say. Maybe I'll pray. Maybe I'll pray. I have never believed in you, no, but I'm going to pray.
Wow.
This song,
Wow.
it's just so like, it's, it's so real. You know what I mean? It sounds like somebody's inner thoughts or somebody that really just went through something. And it's just like, for a while they were naive. They were in their own little world, their own little bubble. They blocked out the news. They didn't want to know what was going on outside of their bubble.
Mm-hmm.
And then he says, I lift up my head and the world is on fire.
That's the lyric that was in my mind. That was like, whoa.
Girl, that's heavy. That's heavy. Because you know what? And I don't want to turn this into a whole segment, but that's what a lot of us do. You know what I mean? There's so much going on in the world. And for a lot of people, it's hard to cope with.
Mm-hmm.
Or you may not feel like you can attribute in any type of way. So you kind of just, you choose to be ignorant or you choose to be naive
Mm-hmm.
because it's safer that way, it's easier that way. But he's saying, he decided to lift up his head and there's dread in his heart, there's fear in his bones. He don't know what to say. So he's just gonna pray.
That was powerful. I have to listen to that. So that
Yeah.
wait, what was the NDIRE song? What was the name of it?
Hold on, let me go back to it. It's called In Good Trouble.
Okay, I got two
And
songs
it's from the new
on
album
the playlist.
called her new album is called Worthy. Like, come on, India.
Have you listened to her whole album yet?
Yes, I
Is
have.
it good?
Absolutely. You know what? I love India. She's the type though that I can't listen to one of her albums front to back.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
She's the type that I go through and I pick out the ones that I
Mm-hmm.
like.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you have to with her. It's hard because she takes you through so many emotions.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the reason why. Not because it's not good music.
Oh,
It's just
okay.
because just because it takes you through an emotional roller coaster, and it's so deep, it's so heavy. Like she
Oh,
does not spare her feelings on the songs that she writes. So I do have to go back and listen to I listen to every single song, but I have to go back and listen to in more in depth.
wow.
But it's a good album.
I'm gonna listen
Yeah.
to it. Thank you for putting me
Yeah.
on.
Nope. Thank you. I can go. What's your second one?
It's by Anita Baker.
Yes, I
So
need a day.
I was dedicating this segment to her, so it's by her. And it's sad. Like she has her like beautiful, like She can make you feel like you're in love when you ain't never been in love in your life, and then she can make you feel like you got your heart broke like into a million pieces. So just the way she sings and delivers in her lyrics, and even live, I was blessed enough to see her last year in concert, and oh my gosh, best concert! Like she's amazing. So this song is like a very sad song. We've all been there. Well, most of us have been there. Um, and it's just about like being in love with someone and you guys breaking up and you kind of try to move on and find somebody else, but there's nobody like them, and
Mm.
you're looking at them and you just can't find them because it's just them. But
Ooh.
it's called No One in the World, and here we go. I look back on all those good times we once shared, and I must have been blind just to think I find someone new, one who loved me better than you. Well, it may come as a surprise. Loneliness has opened my eyes. I've tried every love I could find. Still, I can't get you out of my mind because there's no one in the world to hold me. No one in the world's gonna move me. No one in the world can love me like you do, baby. Every time I'm with someone, loving you, yes, I want to run. I want to run back to your arms again. Ain't no one in the world. Let me just do the second verse real quick for them. Let me.
Go ahead, please, because I'm in it
Oh,
right
I got
now.
shivers. Oh gosh. Whew. She says, "Are you happy now with your life?" Well, for me, I'm breaking inside, so self assured that I could not see. I had it all when you were with me. And it
Mm.
goes on. But that's my song. I got to listen to it after this. That's my song. All right, Streets. So today we actually have a bonus song that we want to put you on to, and it's by Etta James, and it's called "I'd Rather Go Blind," and it's going to be from both Queen T and I.
Yes, Etta just fit perfectly in with the two divas we just discussed, NDRE and Anita Baker, so we couldn't leave her out.
Mm-mm.
Okay, so Etta says, something told me it was over when I saw you and her talking. Something deep down in my soul said, cry, girl.
Mm.
When I saw you and that girl walking around, oof, I would rather go blind than to see you walk away from me, child. No, woof. So you see, I love you so much that I don't want to watch you leave me, baby. Most of all, I just don't want to be free.
Mm.
No, I was just sitting here thinking of your kiss and your warm embrace when the reflection in the glass that I held to my lips now revealed the tears that was on my face. And baby, I'd rather be blind than to see you walk away from me. I cut out some of the woos and babies and gives.
I know.
So I just got to the meat of it.
uh,
But just okay, let's just talk about Edda just for a quick second before we go. I have I don't think anybody compares to her when it comes to emoting.
mm.
In a, actually, there's one person that I think came close, and that's Yeba. Have you ever heard of Yeba My Mind?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so I've never heard anybody emote in a song the way that Etta James
Mm-hmm.
has, but Yeba comes very, 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 very close. Etta puts her whole being
Mm.
inside of a song, and it's just like it's almost like she has an emotional reservoir that she can just grab a glass from every time she's ready to sing, and it's just, she can just tap into it every single time, and
Mhm.
it's freaking crazy to me. It's amazing.
Yes, I totally agree. Like she brings so much life and just power to songs. Like she's in her own lane. But I am gonna check out Yeba. You said it was?
Yes, Yeba My Mind.
The name of the song is My Mind.
Yes,
Okay.
it will snatch your edges off.
I'm definitely gonna check that out. And the crazy thing is I see so many people like doing remakes of Etta James songs on YouTube, and they're good and they're great. But there's no one like Etta. Like,
Yeah.
she's just, God just put certain things in some people where you can remake it, recreate it. It's good, it's great, but it's just not. And Etta is definitely one of those people. So props to Etta James. She's
Yes.
For real.
Agreed.
So, Streets, I do want you to know we do have a playlist. It will be out by the time you guys listen to this episode. It's going to be called the Chapter 30 playlist. I'm sorry, the Chapter 30 podcast playlist. And you'll be able to just have all the songs that we put you on to all on basically one playlist. So it'll be a great way for you to connect to us, for us to keep connected to you. And we hope you enjoy it and play it and listen to it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. And we'll see you guys next time.
See you next time. We love you.
Love you. Bye.
Bye. Thanks for listening, guys. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us.
And don't forget to follow all of our social media platforms linked below. And remember, peace, love, and perspective.